Welcome to HeavieTalk. I'm your girl, Heavie, aka Heavie, and I am back in an episode of HeavieTalk. Here to serve some more straight talk and no chaser. Happy HeavieTalk Friday. Thank you for tuning into a new episode. Let's get right into it, giving you today's word, your inspiration of the day. Today's word, which I feel like I've said before, but it's okay because this is key, especially with seasonal depression and those struggling during the holiday season. You can't go wrong with this word. And the word is wellness. Prioritize wellness in your life. There are different aspects of wellness, from spiritual wellness to mental wellness, physical wellness, and emotional wellness. As always, for daily words and inspiration, make sure that you follow at HeavieTalk on Instagram and Facebook. You can also follow me at Sha'Carri. Let's get right into it with our topics, talking about Young Thug currently being on trial. Now, there are so many different aspects of this, but I really want to talk about two main parts. First, let me give you some information or some background on Young Thug in case you're like, who is that? I have no clue who this man is. Young Thug is a rapper out of Atlanta. He's very popular. You may know a couple of his artists under his umbrella, and that is Gunna and Lil Baby. So you may really know about Gunna because something that happened recently, Gunna was also under this RICO case, but Gunna ended up taking a plea, which got him out of jail. And a lot of people went on to call him a snitch. It was just a lot. It was a whole ordeal. Since then, people have still been calling him a snitch. It's just been real bad. But this is the same trial that Young Thug is under. Let me tell you what he's been charged with in case you're not familiar. Thug and a dozen of his associates were charged with conspiring to violate Georgia's anti-racketeering law. Thug himself was also charged with gang, drug, and gun crimes. Now, according to this article from Fox 5 Atlanta, this is what the Fulton County prosecutor has alleged. This is what she said to the jury. The members of the gang committed crimes including murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, and theft to further the gang's mission. The prosecutors also made it clear that they intend to use rap lyrics from songs by the defendants to help make their case. Now, let's start with talking about how Thug's attorney has been trying to has been trying to defend some of Thug's lyrics, which he say have been taken out of context. Now, if you know anything about Young Thug and his associates, their lyrics seems to be shoot 'em up, bang, bang. They rap about things that very much seem to be of the gang life, street life, or that culture. Thug's attorney is like, nah, the lyrics have been taken out of context. You're not really seeing what he's trying to say. Let's start with his name. His name is Young Thug. Now, I thought that Thug had its own meaning, which we all know, which is that of the street life. But no, Thug's attorney is saying that's not true. Thug means something completely different to him. And they're saying that it means truly humble under God. I'm going to say it again in case you missed it because it was so laughable. Thug's attorney is trying to say that Thug means truly humble under God. Now, I hate when people try to play with the Lord, but they're going to have to deal with him. So, you know what? I'm just going to leave that up to them. Now, he thought we was going to believe that, and I thought that was laughable. Then he went on to explain what the popular phrase pushing P means. Pushing P has been thrown around so much, I would almost bet that you have heard it before. You hear pushing P, You hear keeping it P. I just be like, my goodness, give it a break. There's just too much peeing going around here. It's just too much. Now, this phrase became popular from a song by Gunna and Future featuring Young Thug. I just talked about Gunna. These are all rappers from Atlanta. After this song came out, everybody just started pushing P and just keeping it P. My goodness. Thug's attorney is saying pushing P has a completely different meaning than you guys may think. He's saying that it's being taken out of context. Thug's attorney is saying pushing P means pushing positivity. Come on now, he can't be serious. He cannot be serious. Thug's attorney is trying to play in our face. He is playing in our face. If this is the angle that they decided that this is what they were going to go with in his defense, there's nothing else that he could have thought of. You couldn't have thought of any other acronyms for this. Truly humble under God and pushing positivity. That's a joke. Now let's talk about what people feel like is a controversial approach by the prosecutors, and that is using lyrics in court. A lot of people feel like lyrics should not be used in court because music is a form of art. Now, I do believe that music is a form of art, and I don't believe that lyrics should 100% be used to make a case. I feel like it should be compounded with other evidence, because you do have cases where people rap about stuff or have lyrics in their song and there aren't a complete picture of their actual life or what's going on. I'll use Future as an example. Future raps about drugs. He has songs that's like, codeine crazy and all of that. But then if you hear interviews from Future, Future said he does not do drugs. He's never done drugs. Drugs aren't good for his body, so he would just never do them. So in that case, even though he raps about things like that, and this is what make up probably like 85% of his lyrics, he say that's not really what his life is about. He's doing that, he's rapping about that just to paint a certain kind of image or facade. But in other cases, I feel like lyrics do paint a clear picture of a person's life and do depict true stories and circumstances. There are a lot of different cases where someone was charged of something and then just people start doing their background research and they go to their music and you can just look at line by line. It almost detail exactly that crime. So in that case, I do think that lyrics could be used. As I said, I don't believe that it should 100% make a case. I feel like other evidence should be used. The lyrics should just be like an icing on the cake. Like, this is our evidence. And if you go to their music, you can see that they have talked about this crime or talked about this life. But a lot of people feel like it just should not be used at all whatsoever. And I guess I can understand that to some extent. Now, talking about lyrics, let's get to our other topic, which directly connects to lyrics and people feeling like lyrics can be used or lyrics can be hypocritical, all of that. Someone that I was not familiar with before by the name of D1, a New Orleans rapper, has talked about lyrics and he has stirred up some controversy. His stance is these rappers can be hypocritical because they be all about prison reform and gun violence advocacy. Then on the other hand, their songs are talking about street life and shooting people. So he just doesn't get it. It can just be seen as a little bit fishy, and I completely agree with him, but other people don't. Here is what he said. Jim Jones, you could do better, brother. I love you too much to not be honest with you. Rick Ross, you could do better, brother. Meek Mill, you could do better, brother. I love you too much to not be honest with you. oh, you the face of prison reform? Or are you sitting here on your new song with Ross talking about someone getting murked and shot at the red light? Which one is it, bro? I really didn't see before how anyone could have a problem with what he said, because it's honestly true. We have to keep it a bean. He is telling no lies at all whatsoever. But some people had a problem with what he said. There are two different sides of this. Some people feel like, again, going back to the point of music is art, they feel like just because someone is rapping about this life, don't mean that this is what they're currently doing. And they're also saying that they could be using this music as a form of therapy. They can be talking about things that happened before and not what they are currently doing. That's one side that people have who don't like what he said. The other side of that is they feel like D1 didn't have to name names. They say he could have kept it vague and not call people out, because they don't think that it's right to drop names. So to call out Rick Ross or Meek Mill or Rick Ross, they feel like it's not right. I feel like that is what solidifies his point, the fact that he dropped the name so that we can have clear examples, so that we know clearly who he's talking about. I'll use Meek Mill as an example. Meek Mill, after he was in jail for a long time, and then we had Jay-Z and Michael Rubin, all of them trying to get him out, all of them advocating for him. He went on to co-found or found Reform Alliance. Then you go to his music, as D1 just said, Meek Mill and Rick Ross just put out a joint album. They're rapping about street life, shooting people, all of that. It just seems so confusing. How can people even take what you're doing with your Reform Alliance seriously and really try to help or really get behind that mission, if on the other hand, in a new song or project that you just dropped, you talking about the same things that you are advocating against? I just don't get it. So that's why I really didn't get how anyone could have a problem with what he said. Like, D1 is on point. Jemele Hill, who's a sports writer who used to be with ESPN, that was a whole ordeal with that. She also talked about this, and she was on D1's side, just like me. She said, I don't agree with everything D1 says, but I appreciate him for being consistent and clear. There was nothing wrong with what he said or the manner he chose to say it. Had he not named names or said it publicly, this discourse wouldn't be happening right now. They missed his point because he's talking about evolution and they feel defensive. There's a reason Jay-Z doesn't rap about giving baby mamas BMWs anymore, and why 444 was about real estate and being a family man. That being said, the rappers he singled out should just be honest. Rapping about street life and what they once did has given them an incredible lifestyle that they aren't willing to compromise. She said it perfectly. She said it completely perfectly. If you are really about prison reform, gang violence, advocacy, you would choose, even though rapping about those things can give you a certain type of lifestyle, even though it could give you money, if you are really about it, you would change your approach. Or you would just do something different if talking about positivity in your music is not what's going to get you money, then you have to do something else if you are really about what you're saying that you are about. It makes a fool of other people who are doing work with this, who are really in the streets every day trying to make an impact, for someone like you to act like you are, and then on the other hand, do something completely different, talking about people getting shot and all of that. Like, pick a side and stay on it. Now, moving on a little bit, but still something that I find equally as absurd. That is a flyer that has come out by Zeus. You probably already heard about it because it went viral. Now, I've talked about Zeus on many occasions, and I've talked about my disdain for them and how anyone would watch their network in the shows that they produce, really, in my opinion, making a fool of Black people. Their shows always seems to be just pitting Black women against each other, just having Black women and Black men on there acting a plumb fool. This is the same network that has the Krishan and Blueface show. And if you know anything about them, they are a hot mess, in my opinion. So this same network, Zeus, allegedly have to say that because some people are saying that this flyer was fake and not true. But I seen a screenshot that this flyer came right from the Zeus Network official Instagram page. So I don't know, but I'll still say alleged. This alleged flyer was talking about an upcoming event that was named Dark Skin versus Light Skin. You have to be kidding me. Dark skin versus light skin? Are you kidding? This is what we're doing. We're just gonna make a fool out of colorism. Like this is what we're doing. This event is supposedly presented by Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon, like, sir, like, really, get it together. You shouldn't even have your name attached to this foolishness. Dark skin versus light skin. No, I'm not, that's not cool. Please, if no other reason made you stop supporting Zeus Network, this in itself should. There is no way anybody should be hosting any type of event that is dark skin versus light skin. What is the point of it? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to accomplish? Give me a break. I mean, honestly, give me a freaking break. That's absurd. Now let's completely switch gears. Let's dive into Heavie Sports Corner. I want to start with talking about college football. For all of my college football lovers, you know that the playoff rankings have come out. Now, I'm not going to deep dive into that because we're not completely a sports platform, but I do want to talk about one aspect of the rankings which have caused quite a bit of a stir. Now, Florida State is a team that was doing really good this season. They went 13-0. They were undefeated. You would think, with that being said, that they would be a shoe-in, an absolute guarantee in the college football playoffs, but nope, they did not make it at all whatsoever, which has caused quite a bit of a tizzy on social media. According to the College Football Playoff Committee and people who have knowledge of the situation, they're saying that because Florida State's quarterback recently suffered a season-ending injury, that it completely shifts that team and that they just won't be that same undefeated team without their quarterback. And that's why they're saying Florida State did not make the college football playoff rankings. Now, the interesting aspect of this, now, while a lot of people had things to say, a lot of people called them being unranked unfair, not making it unfair, not right. I want to talk about what the governor of Florida had to say about this and just the irony in this situation. This is the tweet that the governor of Florida, who's also a Republican presidential candidate, said. I have included in my budget recommendations $1 million for litigation expenses that might come as a result of the NCAA poor decision to exclude our undefeated FSU football team from the college football playoffs. We are with them all the way. Now, while it's great that he's advocating for them, while we can all agree that it was a poor choice by the NCAA and how that team should have been in the college playoffs, the part that gets me is how he is including $1 million in his budget for litigation purposes. For in his mind, he plans on potentially suing NCAA. Now, when I see this, I said, he can put $1 million in his budget for that. But then an article came out this year. The source that I got this from is HBCU Sports, and it says, in late September, the U.S. Secretary of Education, along with U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, sent letters to the governors of 16 states requesting them to make good on the $12 billion owed to their land grant HBCUs. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis received one of those letters declaring that FAMU was owed $1.973 billion in funds that were withheld from the university since 1990. Again, Ron DeSantis is saying he has included $1 million in his budget to sue potentially the NCAA. But this year, the U.S. Secretary of Education and the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture sent him a letter saying that the state needs to make good on over $1 billion that is owed to FAMU that has been withheld from the institution since 1990. Now, everything should not be made about race. Everything shouldn't be racy, and I hate to be that, but you honestly have to be kidding me if you don't see that clear irony right there. I mean, seriously. And this is who's running for president, running for the Republican presidential nomination. I mean, sir, please. This is the same one who's limiting the teaching of Black history, who's changing textbooks, who's banning books. This is the same guy. Good night. Good news. Clap it up for my illustrious North Carolina A&T. Now, my alma mater is making history. I love to see it. I love to see HBCUs doing great things. Jordan Foster is making history at A&T. 23-year-old Jordan Foster is making history as the youngest and first ever Black woman director of football in North Carolina A&T history. Clap it up for her and clap it up for my illustrious North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride. Now I want to send congratulations to Sha'Carri, Richardson, and Noah Lyles. They were both named the U.S. Track and Field Athletes of the Year. Sha'Carri Richardson won the 2023 Jackie Joyner Female Athlete of the Year Award, and Noah Lyles won the 2023 Jesse Owens Male Athlete of the Year Award. Congratulations to them both. I love to see Black girl, Black boy magic, and congratulations to Jordan Foster and my HBCU, North Carolina A&T. Now let's get into all the things that happened like WTF, because the streets have definitely been a raging. Let's start with the story that I found to be just, I'm sorry, but I thought that it was hilarious because people have lost their minds. A woman threw her chicken burrito bowl at a Chipotle manager. Because she did this, the same woman will now have to work at the restaurant to avoid jail time. You done threw your bowl at somebody, now you gotta work at the restaurant. How hilarious is that? The woman was initially supposed to pay a fine and serve a 180-day jail sentence with a 90-day suspension. According to the judge, She instead agreed to work 20 hours per week at the restaurant for 2 months in exchange for cutting her sentence by 60 days. This is what you get. Now I bet you will keep your hands and your food to itself. WTF, lady, you cannot just be throwing stuff at people. That is not okay. Get it together at your big age. I found this one to be funny too. I honestly did. But some people may be a bit of a sore topic, especially if you have kids. A guy dressed as the Grinch stood outside of a Texas elementary school holding a sign that read, "Santa is fake, Jesus is real." WTF, sir. You didn't have anything better to do. Now you are right. But you didn't have anything better to do than stand outside this school with your sign? Get a job. When asked by ABC 7 News if he understands why parents are upset, this is what he said. "I understand why they are upset. They're upset because they're prideful and don't want to admit that they are lying to their child. That lying to their child is wrong in spite of what God's word says. They're more concerned with the traditions of men rather than the truth. And they double down on the lie because of pride, and they are angry because they want to blame the person telling the truth than the one who told the lie that prompted the truth to expose the lie. They don't want to be seen as a liar in the eyes of their child, but the facts say they are." Now, again, while he is completely true, still WTF, why just ruin it for the kids? You didn't have anything better to do than to stand outside the school. I feel the same way about the people who stand outside Planned Parenthood with their sign talking about baby killers. Like, honestly, find something better to do. I mean, seriously, why are you bothering people? Like, mind your business, please mind it. This is like beyond me. As a caffeine drinker, I'm like, what is going on here? Now I'm starting to be scared about my caffeine intake because too much caffeine can like kill you. I had no clue. No clue. A second death is linked to the caffeinated charged lemonade drink sold by Panera Bread. This has raised questions about the safety of ultra caffeinated drinks and how much caffeine is too much. It's the second lawsuit brought against Panera this year over its lemonade. I heard about the first story before. It was not that long ago. It is shocking to me that there's another one. If one death happened, I understand that you have to make money, but you have quite a bit of products on your menu. Why not just take this drink off until you investigate what its impact is? Why just keep it on there? And WTF, I learned today that too much caffeine could potentially kill you. And here I am getting 2 iced caramel macchiatos every day. Like, my goodness. This is an update from a previous WTF moment where I talked about in North Carolina, more than $100,000 worth of THC-infused candy was confiscated from North Carolina gas stations. Here's an update to this whole story or ordeal. 7 students were sent to the hospital after ingesting THC edibles during the school day. This article also said that 2 students have been arrested. My goodness, WT and the F. I couldn't even imagine at that young age, like even thinking about getting high or like doing drugs. Like, I was in the books. Like, that wasn't even where my mind was. So I couldn't imagine at this age, this is what kids are doing. It's like, wow. Speaking more of drugs, more than 1 ton of cocaine. 1 ton, that's a lot. 1 ton of cocaine was seized off the coast of Colombia by the country's Navy. The recovered drugs are reportedly valued at $36.5 million US. Let's end it off on a very, very wild note because WTF. Do y'all remember those GMA hosts that went viral because reports came out that they were dating while both of them were still married? If y'all can remember, that was a whole thing. Them people got taken off air because GMA did not want to have to deal with that. Because, like, if they were in fact married and sleeping together, if those two both had spouses, were married, and then they're having an affair, that was foul. A lot of people feel like that was foul, and people felt like they were being real handsy while live on the set. So GMA said, y'all gotta go. Can't work here. Y'all can work somewhere, but y'all can't work here. Aside from those two anchors who were let go by GMA, aside from them full-blown confirming their romance, they've done a recent red carpet appearance where they were all kissing and hugging, just googly-eyed. And they have a new podcast where they're talking about what led up to them being let go by GMA, how they weren't with their spouses at the time. They've just been dropping all the tea. Aside from that being foolish and ridiculous to me, new reports are coming out that their spouses are now allegedly dating. This is like from a Lifetime movie. You have two people who apparently, allegedly, were dating while they were both married, while they both had individual marriages. Now, their spouses are reportedly together. You have to be kidding me, WTNF. And right before I was about to record, I seen a report that came out where the people did they digging on the other spouse's social media pages, and they found a picture of those two from 2016. So has this been going on? Some people are saying that they were allegedly swingers. My goodness, WTNF. That wraps up everything that had me like WTF for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed it. Happy Heavy Talk Friday. Remember our word of the day, prioritize your wellness. I will catch you here, same place, same time for more straight talk with no chaser. I'm your girl, Heavie Charnice, aka Heavie, and I'm out.